My name is Mitch Benner, and we started this podcast to remove the stigma around sobriety from addiction.
My name is Aaron Nelson. Through our stories and the stories of our guests, we hope to help you find a new path.
We just want to say thank you guys for your support, for listening. I've noticed that our numbers on social media, Facebook, Instagram, all that stuff have been going up. So I really appreciate that. I appreciate you guys clicking that follow button. YouTube is our biggest platform right now, YouTube and Spotify. We'll send out some links this week. If you guys could just jump on there and subscribe to these channels, that would be fantastic. And as we're editing too, I'll see if we can drop a link into this podcast somehow, maybe in the comments or something. But anyways, we just really appreciate you guys' support. Obviously, this is not a thing for us for financial gain. We are doing this out of our hearts. We're not getting paid for this, and the money that we hope to receive and get in someday is just going to go back into this podcast and making it better and widening our reach throughout the country. So anyways, you guys are awesome. Without you, we would not be here. So we really appreciate it. And leave some comments, man. Ask some questions. I'd love to introduce a section where we answer your questions from our opinion. And maybe what we could do is, if you guys load us up with enough questions, we could get somebody that's a professional, and it's a professional therapist, psychologist, something like that, to kind of come in and answer those questions from a clinical standpoint. We love you guys. You're awesome. Thank you. But anyways, today, Aaron and I are going to talk about just kind of trends that we've seen in our podcast. Obviously, we've been able to interview, I think 31 or 32 very successful people in recovery, people with way more years than me. I think collectively, there's got to be close to 300 years of sobriety between the 30 people that we've interviewed. So lots of wisdom there and a lot of things to take away from that and apply to your own life. But I'm going to highlight something that I've noticed throughout this, and I think it ties in pretty well to our first pillar, which is vulnerability. But I have noticed that the people that are able to go back and identify the trauma that they've had in their life, whether it be sexual abuse, physical abuse, abandonment, whatever it is, whatever that trauma piece is, the people that I'm noticing that are highly successful in recovery are the ones that identify that. They identify that in their life, and then they understand it, and at some point you just have to leave it in the past and walk away from it. But what I've also noticed those people doing is using that trauma to create a purpose in their life. I would say that Aaron and I are great examples of that. Ashley Griffin, and I think she's a fantastic example of that. Also, Morgan and Irene Merriman, Desiree Lant. I mean, really anybody that we've had on this podcast at this point, go back and listen and try to identify that trauma piece. And this is something I'm not saying like go do it on your own, right? Like, I think you need clinical direction, somebody that knows what they're doing, psychiatrist, therapist, something like that, to really help you unwind that in a safe space. I know for me personally, my issues were abandonment. And I have a high amount I have what's called ring of fire ADHD. I don't actually know. Basically, my brain just spins downwards into a depressive state of mind. But all of those things are what caused me to drink, man. Like, I just couldn't, I couldn't get a grip on that stuff. So, and my emotions were just so overwhelming, that alcohol would mute all that. Anyways, that's kind of what I want to talk about. I mean, and again, we can go on rabbit trails, do this, that, the other. But what have you noticed throughout our 30 episodes, almost a year of doing this?
Yeah, it's just really cool. And I hate to be redundant, but asking, I think it was Kendra Powers, of what the gateway drug is, and it was trauma.
Yeah.
Because a lot of people think, oh, you just go a party and whatever, but there's always something, and everybody's trauma is relative to their life.
Right.
So it's just if you allow it to run you. And the second you don't let that happen anymore, that's where the success comes in of what we've seen.
Yeah.
And use, I mean, I like the people that have kind of used it as a tool and recognize that that's there, acknowledge it, and then move on.
Right.
The second you let it, this is all negative thoughts, really.
Right.
If you let that come in, you're screwed. Like, the analogy is really good of golf. You got OB on the left and you got water on the right. If that's all you're seeing, that's where your ball's going to go.
Right. Dude, that's so true.
So it's really cool to see the people that can just get through it.
Yeah.
Ball it up into positivity.
You know what I love about it too is, like, it's relatable. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like you can go, like we can go and talk to alcoholics and relate to them. Right. And I do think that a lot of therapists and counselors and psychiatrists, maybe, you know, not psychiatrists so much, but I think a lot of those people have been through that stuff, you know, so, and it gives you a lot of credibility. Right. So I think it's easier to reach people if you've actually been through the battle yourself. So if that's something that's in your heart, you know, like if you really want to get to a place of learning how to help and serve people, I think you need to start with yourself, you know, and if you feel broken, go figure that out, you know, and we can point you in the right direction, whatever that looks like. But I really feel like, you know, nobody's coming out of this thing unscathed out of life, right? Like everybody's got some level of a traumatic experience in their life, whether that dictates the direction of your life or not. I think that's the difference between addicts and I call them normal people, I guess.
Well, that's what I mean, there's just some people that just don't let that stuff run them.
Yeah.
And
You know, but you're a kind of person that's very like disciplined. Were you that way when you were drinking? You know, because you're very disciplined about your working out and work and, you know, things like that. Like you had to have some level of that.
Well, I mean, it's the matter of you're going to do what you say you're going to do.
Right. So you've always been that way. Like you've always had that integrity.
Yeah. You know, you say you're going to show up to something, you be there.
Right.
So I guess there's that part of it. Like I never missed work ever. Partly that's because where the alcohol was. You know?
That makes sense.
But yeah, I don't know. I mean, I don't know. I was always, you know, kind captains and things like that, like rally the troops and set the example.
Yeah.
I guess.
Yeah.
But then but there's different levels of discipline. There's showing up because you have to get your bills paid. Right. Or then there's the shitty discipline of just, oh, I'm just going to drink today. I'm going to make these bad decisions and hope I get away with it.
Yeah. And then there's the personal piece, right, of discipline, like where you push yourself to do things that are outside of your comfort zone. Right. Mm-hmm. And that's where I think like real growth starts to happen in your life.
It's a cool feeling when you can be proud of every day.
Yeah.
At least I did that.
Dude, I'll say this, like I'm starting my workout journey. You know, right now over the past couple weeks, days, whatever, you know, we've had a couple gaps in there, but it's crazy how much in my mind for years, dude, like people would be like, yeah, I'm going to run a marathon. I'm like, you're an idiot. You know, like that was my immediate response. Mm-hmm. Right. So I had programmed that into my brain that like, oh, I'm not going to run. I'm never going to be a runner. You know, that's not me, but it could be me, you know, absolutely could be me.
It's not so much the running side of like endurance events and stuff like that. It's not
100%. I know exactly what you're going to say.
Yeah, it's just the mentally pushing through, and then you can do it, and then it's like, oh fuck yeah, man, I can do 12 miles. That's not a problem.
Yeah,
like you can literally get up and just go 12 miles, no problem.
Right now, you can.
Right now, yeah. Oh, I could do a marathon right now, no problem.
Yeah,
it's just mental.
Yeah. See, and that's the thing is like, okay, and I'll highlight this, right? Like, dude, the other night, my goal was to run 30 minutes straight. Distance didn't matter. It was all about getting my heart rate above 150 and keeping it there for like 20 minutes. Dude, that was literally one of the hardest things that I've done in my most recent past, right? But I did it. I made it 30 minutes in like 10 seconds. You know, I ran 2.25 miles. I'm sore as shit today. And then last night, I was so busy all day, right? Go through the day, work, walk some roofs, don't get home till 5, take my daughter on a date. So I literally have no time to work out until like 9 o'clock. But dude, it was the mind. I'm like, you've got to do it. You've got to do it. You've got to do it. And I did it. You know, did I run? I had eaten a hamburger for dinner and that was sitting in my gut, right? So I'm like, did I run 30 minutes? No, but I ran until I literally couldn't run anymore. You know, until I felt like I was going to throw up, you know, whatever it was. Like I didn't hit my goal, but I did something.
Right.
Right. And I moved that thing forward, whatever you want to call it, just a little bit.
Yeah. 1% better is all you need.
Right. You know, and that's the other thing too about all of this and like vulnerability and self-discipline and all these pillars, right, is creating a community of those people that care about you. Right. Like I've committed to 3 people at this point to run the Weld Your Metal. So that's my goal.
What are you going to do?
My goal is over the next 6 weeks to run as far as I can.
Well, no, what are you going to do in Weld Your Metal? Do you know yet?
I don't know. I haven't decided yet. My mind right now is set on the 24-hour solo. If somebody wants to do the 2x2 24-hour, like I would consider that.
The walking 2 miles?
No, it's you can do a team of 2 over 24 hours.
Oh, right.
So and then you can do a team of 4 over 36 hours. So I thought about that, but at the same time, like in my mind, like what I'm setting in my mind is I want to run 100 miles.
Then let's do it together. You're not doing it by yourself. So you might as well sign up for the 24 hours.
That's what I was
just
thinking.
you, and then we'll just run the whole time.
Yeah,
I mean, you're not running the entire time.
Right. And that's what I figure. Like there's breaks, you can get snacks, you can get water, like, you know,
but you'll learn
out
though,
a little
like,
bit.
If the longer you stop, the harder it is to get going. So you might as well run the whole thing and get it done in 14, 15
Dude, my
hours.
whole point in all of this, right? Like what I was sitting there just staring at a wall, listening to music, dude, my body is screaming at me, right? Like, what the fuck are you doing to me? But my mind is like, this is fun. This is fun. This is fun. I love this. I'm running. I'm so proud of myself. That's all I kept telling myself. Dude, I was 15 minutes in and I'm like, I'm going to fucking die. Like, this is horrible. Just keep telling yourself, no, dude, this is good. Your body's fine. Your mind has power over your body.
Oh, yeah. Never give that pain a voice.
That's what I kept telling myself, dude. I love that podcast, you know, or that speaker. What was his name?
Well, the Jesse Itzler is the guy that talked about it, but the dude that helped him is like a former SEAL.
Yeah, he was a Navy SEAL.
Awesome guy.
Big old beard. I can't remember, but yeah, that really resonated with me. You know, and you can tie all this back to like where you're at in your sobriety, right? Or where you're at in your addiction, right? It's okay. You know the things that you need to do. You just are afraid to do them. You know, and it's the same with me with working out. Like I was always afraid of the pain.
It's not letting that pain or the past or anything run you anymore.
Right.
And that's part of probably being ready to quit. And that's the ultimate problem I'm trying to solve is all this is how do you get someone that like says they want to quit
to actually
and then they actually go like, there's those videos that I watch too of, I think there's this dude, he just rolls up to homeless people that he knows are all fucked up. Like, hey man, I'll give you a scholarship to get sober right now.
And they can't do it.
And the guy's like, I don't want to go right now.
See, that's kind of fucked up, man. Like, I don't know. What do you think that's about? Like, why do you think? I just don't. I think there's a process to this.
I know, but you
can't just roll up on somebody and be like, hey, I'll give you 10 grand if you get sober right now. Like, how is that going to fucking work? You know, you're talking, I don't know. Maybe for some people it would.
Well, let's not use that necessarily as an example because that, dude, it's always hard to say the legitimacy of those. Like, why would you film it, bro? Like,
I think there's a lot of people out there in this space that are trying to profit off pain.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like, I don't know, man. I know he's doing a great thing. I'm not trying to discredit that dude, but my point is, how do we get someone that knows they need to stop to actually stopping faster? Because it's usually additional trauma, DUIs, wrecks, freaking, doing heroin for the first time, all those things that we've heard.
Right.
And then it's like, okay, that's the moment that I knew I was ready. How do we speed that up?
I think you just need to create an environment, right, of people that are doing the things that you want in your life. You know what I mean? And in future, like, I don't think that you can go to somebody that's in active addiction right now and do that. Like, maybe you can, like maybe somebody's just that ready to put it down and like, that's the thing that they need. But there's that piece of like, this is such a large, like trauma is a big deal, right? Like it's not an easy thing to deal with. It's terrifying. It's hard to understand, and it's fucking ugly.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? And it's so against human nature. So I think when I was at the group, the president of the group said, like, we did this class and it was really cool, man. I've always remembered this, but it was that, it was like, hey, if you want to get to a certain gross commission income per year in real estate, you need to spend time with the people that are already earning that gross commission income. What are they doing? What practices? How are they treating their clients?
What are they not doing?
That's so good. Yes. And if I want to strengthen my marriage, you know what I mean? Like, I'm not going to go hang out with my buddies, right? I'm going to go to a thing that's going to help me strengthen my marriage, right? Like, and those are choices that we make, and it's easy as fuck to make the wrong choice. I heard this podcast the other day. The earth Satan has dominion over the earth. God gave Satan dominion over the earth, right? God lets things happen on earth, and Satan comes to kill, steal, and destroy. It's his only goal. And he comes like a sheep in wolf's clothing, or a wolf in sheep's clothing, whatever, like it's hidden. It's hard to understand what's going on. He will always make it feel like it's your issue, right? Like you're a piece of shit because of this, right? Like I didn't get up and do my run this morning, so you might as well give up. That's not God, dude. That's Satan. That's his job. His role on earth is to drive you into the dirt, to allow sexual abuse, physical abuse, to allow some of the closest people to you to tear your life apart. That is not God. That is Satan. And God allows those things to happen, right? Because I don't know, I mean, I'm not God. I think that we learn from them, we grow from them, and again,
go read Job and you might understand.
Yeah.
I just finished Job last night.
It's crazy, isn't it?
Yeah, I like the style of that one a little bit different.
Yeah,
it's all dialogue,
and it's hardcore, dude. Like,
yeah, like it's really hard to like really interpret the dialogue part of it and really extrapolate, because the first 4 or 5 verses and the last verse are just like, and then God gave him everything back twofold. Yeah. It's like that's the end of the story.
Yeah, but it's crazy, dude. Like, and I feel like a lot of people feel like God is up there playing these games with us. You know what I mean? Like Job. Like that, I feel like was a very unique example. Job was just such a devout follower of Christ and all of these things and made a bet with Satan.
Yeah, Job almost gave in.
Of course he did.
He kind of said some shit. But
I think that God allowed that to happen to set an example. You know what I mean? And to show us the grace of God, and to show us also that God will allow us to go through hard things. Right?
I think you have to build.
Not always necessarily. God will allow it. I don't think God is causing it. My favorite Bible verse is 2 Timothy 1:7. God did not give us a spirit of fear, but of love, power, and a sound mind. So anything negative that's happening in your life is not from God. He may be allowing it to happen. He may be allowing it to happen in your life, right? But at the same time, we also have him to lean back on, right? In the name of Jesus, Satan cannot be present. I mean, it's not, in my opinion, it's like, okay, if shit's going sideways, let's sit down. Let's pray about this. Dude, I got to share this story because if you don't believe in God, then how does stuff like this happen? So last night, I pick up my daughter at 5:00. We go on a date, right? We always go to the Hearth in Windsor, get some food, and then I take her either bowling or to the arcade at Main Event. One time, like 3 years ago, we hit a jackpot. She got tons of tickets. It was great. We had a super fun time. Dude, we're driving over there last night, and I'm like, let's just pray. Like, she's talking about, I want to hit 1,000 ticket. I want to get da-da-da. I'm like, let's pray about it. And I'm like, even in the little things, God will listen. And I just prayed. I was like, God, we love you. We serve you. I thank you for this opportunity to go spend time with my daughter, to pour into her life, to pour into her heart, to understand who she is. You know what we're about to go do? If it's in your will, Lord, help us hit 1,000 ticket. Bro, we hit 1,000 ticket jackpot. I have a picture of it.
That's cool.
It was crazy. And it was this opportunity to be like, dude, even in the little things, God is real. Right? And all it requires is us to press into it. God will meet you, maybe not in the way that you want him to, but he will meet you in the way that you need it. Right? And then and pray for those things, ask for those things. And if it's not God, ask the universe. There is something, a fabric that ties us all together. I feel it constantly, especially in this space, man, with recovering addicts. It's amazing. Mm-hmm. So anyways, kind of a tangent, but all of that to say, like, I don't know, man, I think it starts with your identifying like the shit in your life,
Yeah, just find the stuff that's bugging you and you got to lean into it. You got to figure it out. And that's the more you kick the can down the road and numb it, you're just going to.
Dude, and the older we get, the harder it is to stay in good physical shape, mental shape, all of those kinds of things, spiritual shape, like all of those things matter. Right. And for the longest time in my life, I didn't think they did. All I cared about was the physical, what was going on right in front of me. How do I make myself feel good? How do I numb?
See, dude, that's it, dude. I mean, the feeling good.
That's the problem in our society for sure, dude.
You could tie it back to like wealth and doing well that way is If you just want to work and then go home and watch Netflix and sit on the couch and be comfortable, like that's all you're going to get out of life.
Yeah. I mean, if you want to go grind the 8 to 5 and climb that corporate ladder or not, like that's fine.
Yeah, but even then you're never going to be, you're always going to work for someone else, or you're not doing things for yourself by that life.
You know, and I don't want to dog people that do the 8 to 5 thing.
Oh, it's good. It
is.
But you can do that. But my point is, like, don't just have that be your life. Go challenge yourself in the morning with something. You know, there's not, because if you can just kill it and crush out your job, like wake up, that's great. But you have to challenge yourself. You have to challenge your mind, your body to do, and it doesn't have to be running a 100-mile race.
No, that's absolutely. My wife thinks I'm a fucking idiot.
It's not what we're saying. It's challenge yourself on learning a new language or learn how to draw. You know what I mean? It's all corny, stupid shit.
Well, and that's the thing that I think really helped me stay away from my addiction was keeping my mind active in good things, you know, whether it was coloring, like, and there's simple things, dude. Like if you're having that episode of like, oh my God, like I need a drink, dude, just go dip your face in a bowl of cold water.
Is that what you do to have those urges? Because I feel like those earlier in your journey, those urges are more present.
Yeah, earlier on for sure. I don't have them anymore. You know what? That's not actually true. I would say in the last 2 months, 3 months, I've actually had more struggle with it than I did at the beginning. It was weird, dude. I was ready for sobriety. Like I was a mess. You know, I mean, I had a gun in my hand probably once a month, you know, and it was just not like, I knew that's not what I wanted. And then I got an ultimatum from my wife, and that was, you know, the straw that broke the camel's back for me. But I was ready for it, you know, and I also had a great support system. So, and I spent 3 months in rehab. So I think all of those things combined just set me up, you know, but the hardest part of all of it was staying sober by myself, right? That's why we created this community. That's why we're doing this podcast. This podcast has kept me sober. The accountability to the 500-600 people that listen to this, that's all it took for me, right? Like now I'm accountable to this, right? It's why I'm signing up for Weld Your Metal, because once I sign up for it, it's real, you know, and I don't want to go out there and only run 25 miles. I'll look like an idiot. You know, I want to go out there and run as far as I fucking can. And so is this journey over the next 9 months going to be perfect? Absolutely not. Absolutely not.
Just don't bitch out in the winter.
I have a treadmill right there, you know, like that's what I've been doing.
But you need to get out and run in the cold weather.
Okay.
Because it's about overcoming it.
Cool.
You know, could be cold that day. You're not just going to run 100 miles on the treadmill.
You know, and it's funny, like cold showers, Morgan, I love Morgan Jewell. I think she's so wise for 24 years old, but the advice that she gave me a few episodes ago, man, it really resonated, you know, and am I doing good getting up in the morning? No, not really, you know, but I am getting my workout in during the day, and I don't want to run at 9:00 at night before I go to bed. So all of those things are motivating factors, right? To get the pieces in place the way that I want them to. Do I have to do it overnight? No, man. Like you said, 1% better every day. Just 1% better every day. You know, you do that and you get 365% better throughout a year. Bro, that year is just going to be insane. So much success, a lot of challenges, right? But imagine how you're going to feel when you cross that finish line, you know, and that's what this whole race is for me, is this physical manifestation of the past 2 years of my life, you know, in a way that's like, okay, I'm going to go do something that's out of this world. Like to me, it's crazy, right? To other people, it may not be. To me, it's crazy, but it needs to be crazy. You know, that's my personality. It needs to be that extreme, right? Because that's my personality. And I would say that most addicts are probably can identify to that in some way.
Yeah.
You know, so yeah, dude, I'll share my journey with you guys along the way. Failures, successes. Like I think hammering down on the grind is one thing that we don't see on social media, you know, and we don't see really ever, you know, it's like, what does it take to produce a movie? What does it take to produce a podcast? What does it take to run 100 miles? What does it take to make $350,000 a year? You know, you don't see that. And everybody just, it's like, okay, this is what I want. And now I'm depressed because I didn't get it in 1 year.
Right.
You know, and it's like, okay, you're an idiot.
See, that's funny because I saw this. Like, I don't know if they have it. Like, these people sitting around a circle, and then two people sit in the middle of a chair, and then they debate something, and there's a timer. I
Okay.
think it's like a somewhat of a popular, like, channel or something or whatever.
Okay.
And there was this girl on there talking with this millionaire dude, and she was like, I don't think she was a capitalist at all, but it was about that kind of thing where, oh, you guys millionaires, you just think whatever. How did she say it? It was something on the lines of you guys don't care. And his point was, no, I worked my fucking ass off to get where I'm at. Like, you can do it too. She's like, no, I can't. It's easier for you to say they're on your high horse or whatever. He goes, yeah, but I was there. I was that, whatever. It is about that, like, kind of like a poor mindset was kind of the takeaway.
Yeah. And dude, I think, yeah, and that's exactly right. Right. Like, I think if you boil life down to its simplest form, it's choice.
But see, here's where I was going with that is you're gonna see that your business is gonna take off. My best months were during training because it's you get I have to get this run in, I have to get these calls in done by this time, so then I can go on my second run, and then be back in time for family.
Yeah.
So I can focus on my family. So the amount that you got done that I ended up getting done between 4 a.m. and 3 was CrossFit WOD, 8 miles, 30 phone calls, lots of loans, and family time.
And then you rinse and repeat.
And then it's just routine.
And that's the thing. Like, I think there's this level of like spontaneity in our world, and I love it. I think spontaneity is fucking so fun, but it's irresponsible, and is there room for it?
Yeah,
at times in your life, for sure.
That's where good ideas come from.
Yeah.
But you have to know what stone to unturned.
You got to keep the base, right? You got to have the foundation, which is the structure, which is get up at 4, hit a WOD, 8 miles, all that, and then do it every day, and I love one thing that you've said is like, dude, I get up at 4 a.m. on Saturdays and Sundays. You don't break that train, that mental path, right? You don't break it. And I've mentioned this to you before, but Jerry Seinfeld's the same way, right? Like, and you never miss 2 days in a row. Never.
You never miss a Monday either. Fuck your holidays.
So
fuck your birthday.
For real, dude. Like, yeah, you run farther on those days. You know what I mean?
Like, David Goggins is extreme, but if you really just take away some of the points that he's talking about the same thing. Yeah. Just do it.
Well, and I think we're all talking about the same thing. Like this space in podcasting is so saturated right now. Sobriety, health, tying it all together. I mean, I can name probably 5 off the top of my head right now that are more successful than we are, celebrities, and I think you said something too. It's like the celebrity stuff is great, but it's hard to relate to because we'll never understand what their life is like. And maybe you will. Hopefully you will, if that's what you want. But it's so like far up here that they just live in this different reality, and I feel like for us, like the normal guy, it's so much different, dude. Our life doesn't look like that. They have, I don't know, maybe I'm making excuses, but I just feel like this kind of stuff underneath, is a little bit more relatable because we are doing the 8 to 5. I have 2 jobs and this, you know what I mean? So we're in the middle of that daily grind all the time.
Yeah, we don't have to just like suck a dick to be in a movie. Just listen to that shit. Some of the shit that they do to be in movies, bro.
Oh, dude. So I gotta give. I know that MGK gets a crap load of shit, whatever. Like, I love the guy. I think as a person, dude, like watching his life and his story, like I think that guy's crazy. He's awesome. Fuck, where's I going to that?
Mac Miller seems like an interesting life to dive into.
Yeah, man. I had a point that I brought up MGK for. What did you just say prior to that? I got to make a point.
Just like all these movie stars and shit, all that stuff.
Oh, dude,
do the dark, dirty shit that they do to get.
He wouldn't. He didn't get cast in a role for a movie because he wouldn't say the N-word. He was like, "No, dude, I'm not going to do that." Like, and I love.
He probably didn't take it in the ass from the producer
or whatever, dude. Like, at least the guy's got some level of a moral standard. Yeah, you know what I mean. And I was like, "Hey, good for you, dude. Like, stand up to the man. Like, yeah, fuck you. I'm not going to do that."
Damn, really?
Yeah. He like missed out on like $1 million, $2 million deal, dude, because he wouldn't say the N-word in a movie.
I mean, that's awesome. Like, that's just weird that that's a thing that they wouldn't let him do that because this has to be this way in this movie.
I think
very strange.
Again, going back, that's a world I'll never understand, But
some of the stuff with like kids in movies. Like there's this funny movie that it's kind of like a porn. It's like kind of based around porn of like this like underground scene or whatever. It's like a 1970s movie, and it's with Ryan Gosling.
Okay.
Anyway, they're riding around in this neighborhood. This kid pulls up. He's like, "Hey, you guys in a movie? Or you want to be? I want to be in your movie. I got a big dick. You want to see my dick?"
Are you serious?
Yeah. But it's like a little 9-year-old
What
saying
the
this.
hell?
It's totally out of context, and I butchered it. But it's like it's a funny scene, and they're like, "No, man, we don't want to see your dick, dude." It's with Robert Crowe, Australian guy.
Okay.
His last name is Crowe, and then Ryan Gosling, dude. It's
Do
kind
you know what the name of the movie is? Because now I want to see.
it's based in the 70s, and like Ryan Gosling's like a private investigator kind of guy, struggling with alcohol, and like his daughter's in it too. Like his daughter's with him all the time.
Is he a detective?
Yeah, kind of. But
Okay,
I think he's private investigator more than he is like a cop.
I know what you're talking about.
Bro, that's funny.
I remember.
Yeah.
I think I might have fallen asleep during that movie, but I don't know, dude.
See my dick because I got a big dick. But like I don't know, man. Would you? Okay, back to it. Like all the other movies where like little kids like are like basically South Park in movies where they're saying all kinds of fucked up shit. Would you let your kid do that? Like be in a movie and just say raunchy, messed up things.
I mean,
It's a fine line.
I don't know, dude. Like they do it anyways. You know, like my kids.
I let Connor cuss, but I don't
I
let
do
him
too.
say like.
I mean, I wouldn't want them. Dude, okay, here's the thing. This is my honest opinion. Reality is reality, whether you're 17 or 7. You know, and kids are growing up faster today than we ever did. I mean, my daughter's 7 years old, bro. She can read pretty much any book. I didn't learn to read till I was fucking like 10. You know, like so they're growing up faster, they're learning faster. You know what's super crazy is when my kid comes home and tells me about shooting drills that they have to do.
Yeah, dude, that stuff is so fucked up.
It's fucked up, right? But these kids are growing up faster, right? And so the one thing that I remember as being a kid was like, I didn't understand how the world really worked, you know? And I don't feel like I ever learned that from my parents. Right?
So are they smart enough in that context to be like, all right, dude, this is art, right? Or this is comedy? Like there's a difference between you going out and saying these things.
I think they have
school versus like now.
Right. So back to your thing of like the movie, like, I don't know, dude. I would need more context.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like, do you go and let this kid say all these messed up things, like ride up on a bike and tell Ryan Gosling, I got a big dick, do you want to see it? Like, and let him know that that is art or comedy. And you don't just ride down the neighborhood and be like, hey, Will.
I don't know, dude. I think that's going to have an impact no matter what. You know what I mean? Because especially if she doesn't know what it is. You know, but the other thing too that people have always told me they think is weird is like we are naked around each other, our whole family, you know, and it doesn't really bother us, you know. And I asked my daughter the other day, I was like, dude, is it weird for you to like see me naked? And she's like, no, not really. You know, and the thing is like, it's life, it's reality. Why are we hiding it from them? I think we're doing them a disservice. I think there are certain things that we need to protect our children from, evils in the world and things like that. You know, swearing, being naked, understanding sex at 7 years old. It's all context, right? It's all how the message is delivered, right? And I told my daughter all about the birds and the bees like 6 months ago. She wanted to know. So I told her, you know, and the thing is I feel like that builds trust.
It destigmatizes everything.
It does, dude. And it kind of takes the shock factor away from all of it, you know, and that's what I want for my children. I don't want them to walk into the world and be shocked. You know, I want them to be prepared in a good way. You know, I want them to understand that being nice is different than being a good person.
Yeah.
You know, I want them to understand that if something hard is going on in your life, you need to face it straight up. And you need to tell the truth. And you need to operate your life with integrity, right? No matter what.
And that starts with telling yourself the truth, though.
Right. And that also starts with realizing what you're up against. You know, and the evils that are in the world. Like, you know, we've showed our kids videos of children in third world countries, you know, and like, look, you guys need to understand that we live in a bubble in America. You know, we live in even a tighter bubble in Northern Colorado. You know, I'm like, there's not a lot of crime. There's not a lot of bad things that go on around here, you know, like we're talking to our children about sex changes and all of that stuff. Like this is real, you know, people are doing this. You don't have to agree with it, which, whatever, develop your own opinions on it. And we don't spend a lot of time there, like it's not something I want to have an hour-long conversation with my 7-year-old. And my 4-year-old, obviously, we're not having any of these conversations with him yet, but I don't know. That's my opinion, dude. Like, and if I'm wrong, then I'm wrong, but I just know growing up, like I didn't know how to handle myself, and I think that led to abandonment issues. It led to high amounts of anxiety. It led to depression because I didn't know what to do. I thought I was supposed to be at 24 years old, this kid that was making all kinds of money, and I wasn't, I didn't know how to do that. And so I just felt like I was unprepared for the world. And my response in all of that was to mask the pain with alcohol and drugs and to surround myself with the wrong people and to do things that felt good, not necessarily things that were good, but felt good. And there's a huge difference between being a nice person and being a good person. And I feel like our world is too nice. Like why, when I jerk on my dog's chain because he's being a little shit, do I have to explain myself to people around me? Fuck you. I'm disciplining my dog. You have no idea the context of my life, right? But what I'm not afraid of is the truth. And what I will stand for always, and I tell my children, is the truth.
That's all you have to do. That was the truth, dude.
Right. And I will operate my life with integrity, period. And if you don't like me for it, fucking kick rocks, because I don't care. Anybody listening to this in active addiction, I think can really identify with this, because when you live for yourself, you die. You're dying inside. Millionaires that live for themselves, they are not fulfilled. Now, why do you think billionaires are assholes? Because they're not fulfilled. They did everything they wanted in their life. They're not fulfilled anymore. Life is supposed to be challenging. Life is supposed to be full of difficult things that you overcome. Right? It's supposed to be that way. And I think God allows those things in our life. God allows evil to operate in the world because he trusts us as human beings to do the right thing. And we're not.
I think if you live for other people, give first, then the millions will follow.
I agree. And I have decided in my heart that it doesn't matter.
But being rich is different, dude. It doesn't matter what's in your bank account. That's not what I mean by the millions.
It doesn't matter. What matters to me is telling the truth, living with integrity, serving the people that I get the opportunity to serve the best way that I possibly can, and sowing change and truth in my community. And this is one thing I'm proud of in myself. My wife said this last night. We were having an issue with a friend and I just got right in front of it. And she was uncomfortable. And I'm like, well, you started it and I'm going to finish it. And this is the truth. These are the conversations that we're going to have. And if you don't like it, then we're not going to spend time with you. I love you. I'm sorry that this is going on. I'm sorry that I was blind to how you felt about these things. That's my fault. Right. And what you did was bring it to light. And that's a good thing. Right. So now let's sit down like adults and have a conversation and build each other up and figure out how to move forward. And if moving forward is going different ways, I'm okay with that too. And I think it just all ties back into what we were talking about at the beginning. It's a choice. Everything in life is a choice. You can choose to identify your trauma and use it, or you can let it control your life. It's that simple. There's no fucking gray area in any of this, and that's the one thing that I think people are so used to feeling good. They're so used to getting those dopamine hits on social media, on all the wrong places, man. Identifying with people that you don't even know, while you're completely ignoring the community that's around you. You're completely ignoring what's going on in your heart and your soul. And I think that's why, one, whatever generation is like 20 years behind us, I don't know what the name of them is, I think they're going to spark a revival, a spiritual revival. And dude, look at what's going on in the celebrity world. Eminem, great example, is releasing songs about spirituality with Lauren Daigle and Jam Wayne and all of these guys. Like, he's partnering up with all these guys and speaking fucking truth into the world. No matter where you come from, no matter what you've done in your life, God can use you. You can be a tool. and you can be effective. I would tend to guess that Eminem's probably done some really fucked up shit in his life, but look at where he's at right now. Look at the things he's learned. And once you know, and then you do nothing with it, that's when God is like, bleh. But if you don't know, find out. And that's what we're here for. That's what this podcast is about. Discover the pain in your life. Use the pain in your life. Don't let it control you. That's what Satan wants for you. He wants you down. He wants you depressed. He wants you oppressed because he wins. And honestly, dude, this earth is a battleground. It's a spiritual battleground. And that's what we're in right now. When Jesus died, he called us to go find those people. Our only mission as a Christian is to go find the people that have not heard about Jesus and to operate our lives within the principles and standards that he set forth. Are we going to do it perfect every time? Fuck no. And we all got shit to answer for. But at the end of the day, do you want to live in the ditch or do you want to live on top of the mountain? And I think that it all comes down to a choice. And I can't force you to make it. Aaron can't force you to make it. All we can do is get on these microphones and be here as a support system, create a community that actually means something to people, all of that kind of stuff. So I feel like we were called to this, and that's why we've been doing it as long as we have, and I'll never give up. This is my calling. And if I never make a dime on it, I'm okay with that. I've got other ways, and I have faith that God will take care of us because we are answering the call. And that's my honest belief. That's my personal opinion. You can take it or leave it. I don't really care if you believe it or not. It's real, and it's real to me, and it's changed my life. So I don't know. Like I said, I think it all starts with trauma, identify it. You got to be ready to go fight the battle.
Because it'll help you too once you get through that. Once you find that trauma, use it for a tool, use it for whatever, or leave it in the past, whatever you have to do. And then now when it happens again, you're going to be more apt to deal with it and not go back to old habits.
Dude, and you can start to fight for the people around you. It's like, this is fun. I've always identified with guys in movies like William Wallace, Ragnar Lothbrok, like these guys that are just fighting this grungy battle for the right reasons. You know what I mean? Maybe not Ragnar. Maybe that's not the right, but William Wallace, man, like that guy fought for freedom, right? Like that's exactly what we're doing. It's exactly what we're doing, but it's just not physical. It's in a different realm, right? And it's spiritual, and it happens all the time, And I just told my wife this morning, she's like, I am not a runner. And I'm like, well, yeah, with that mindset. I was like, actually, a week ago, I would have said the same thing, but it's like, I have to tell myself, even though I've gotten on my treadmill twice, I have to tell myself in my mind, like, I'm a runner. I'm a runner. I like to run. I can run 100 miles. Right. So I don't know, dude, it's a battle. Right. And I feel like when you win those battles, it's the same kind of like emotion. It's the same kind of motivation that you're experiencing in these physical battles, right? Like William Wallace is like obviously physical, crazy, fought for freedom. That's what we're doing, dude. We're fighting for spiritual freedom, right? And we are in the middle of it right now. And I am a warrior. I am a warrior. And I always will be. And I will fucking die on that hill. None of us are making it out of here alive. So why not? If you're listening to this and your life is in shambles, why not? If you haven't tried it, why not? If you have tried it, maybe it was weaponized against you. Maybe somebody said something to you that turned you off to God. That's not God. That's Satan twisting shit. And yeah, I'm a warrior, man. Period. I'll fight for my family. I'll fight for my wife. I'll fight for the people around me. I'll fight for myself. And I'll fight for the truth. Period. And if you don't like me for it, I don't care. Because I don't need that in my life. And you guys, it's a mindset, right? Like you guys can have that.
We'll keep fighting. Fight to stay sober. Fight to do the right thing.
And dude, lean on the community, right? Like lean on the community. That's what this is all about, right? We're putting together some pretty exciting things for next year that I'm actually starting to get really stoked about. And now we get to live for the light and we get to fight for freedom. And I fucking love that. I'm a warrior and I fucking love it. So I hope that this resonates with you guys. We didn't have a guest today, but I really love these opportunities to just sit down and kind of reflect on where we're at, where the podcast is at, where our guests are at, where you guys are at, all of it. You know, it's been almost a year. January 1st will be 1 year of doing this. And it's crazy to me to think in 9 months how far we've come, you know, and just scrap this thing together. And all we've done is just tried to do the right thing, you know, and seems like I'm patting myself on the back and all these things. Like I am proud of myself for where we at. And I don't think that there's anything wrong with that. You know, you should feel proud of yourself. And if you don't, then there's things that need to be fixed, right? There's things that need to be identified. So anyways, I know that Aaron and I are not professional, anything like that. Like we are just here as people to try to help you. But I'm telling you, man, reach out. Like we are so passionate about seeing you guys come out of the darkness, you know, and finding that light and finding that purpose in your life. It means everything to me. And I hope it means something to you guys. So you guys can always hit us up on socials, obviously. Shattered Darkness, Facebook, Instagram, Spotify. I'm just going to be honest, dude. We need to get to 500 followers on YouTube. We are so close to our content hours being played, and we need 500 subscribers to hit the next level on YouTube and to really grow this thing farther. So I am just going to straight up ask if you guys like this and you're following us on social media, please pop over to YouTube and subscribe. Please, please, please. It helps us dramatically. I check that constantly for comments and things like that. So leave comments. I'll write them down, you know, and if you want to be anonymous, please tell me like, hey, keep my name anonymous. If you don't, that's fine. If you guys want to be on the podcast, I'm telling you, man, telling your story is cathartic. It's so good, you know, and you start to see things about yourself that maybe you didn't see the first time around. And it's amazing, man. It's really just taking that next step up. So anyways, I know that I'm here begging you guys for support, but truly it means the world to us and it means the world to our growth, you know, and to the impact that we can have. So, yeah, Aaron, you got anything you want to say before we sign off?
No, just keep fighting.
Okay. We love you guys. Truly, we do. And we are here for you. You can just Google my name, find my cell phone number, call me anytime. We love you guys. We'll see you next week.